welcome back to Women's Stories, a place where we talk about anything and everything to do with women. And today I'm in the hotspot talking about my life living with diabetes. So I got to know that I was diabetic in 2016, and it came about when I was pregnant with my son, and they picked it when I went for visits, antenatal visits, and I was initially they assumed it was gestational diabetes that's triggered by you being pregnant. So I was put on a diet, and it was difficult one. Coming from a place you go to know salsa every day, rice and spaghetti and all that jazz. So it was very difficult. So when they put me on a diet, I had to just have two boiled eggs in the morning, a cup of coffee, and that's it. I was encouraged to eat like 5 times a day, small portions. And yeah, it was really difficult for me because, I was coming from an environment where you have your full breakfast, heavy breakfast in the morning, lunchtime you have your salsa and nyama or whatever, then dinner you have another heavy meal. So it was a huge adjustment for me. And yeah, being pregnant and diabetic, it kind of took a toll on me because I got worried. I didn't have enough information about can it be transferred to the child and stuff like that.
What kind of support system did you have?
So when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I was living in the United States. I had gone for some program. I didn't have any family around, so I didn't have any support save for my healthcare team and what they were telling me, the things that I should do and things that I shouldn't do. So it was difficult. It was very difficult. And that, like I said, I had to adjust to other kinds of things like, brown bread, black coffee, just eating eggs in the morning. So it was very difficult. I didn't have any support system.
What was the most difficult adjustment you had to make?
I would guess it had to do with diet. I was coming from Africa, Zimbabwe, and like I said, our meals, we have our heavy meal in the morning, lunchtime you heavy meal, dinner you have a heavy meal, and it's full of starch. So that was my greatest adjustment. And at that time they didn't put me on any medication, so it wasn't that difficult in that regard. It was just having to adjust to what I eat and watching what I eat, the quantities.
So, what were some of the early symptoms you experienced early on?
To be honest, I didn't know I was diabetic. Like, I didn't know how to feel. What I've struggled with for a long time is I've always said I'm not a morning person. So I just wake up in the morning feeling wiped out. That's the greatest thing that I've known over the years, even before I was told I'm diabetic. I wake up feeling very wiped out. So I would always just say to my friends, oh, I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person.
So, how did you feel emotionally after you received the diagnosis?
It was very challenging, I won't lie. Very challenging. In first days, I would cry actually, because there's a lot of stigma around diabetes. Where I come from, it's regarded as one of those conditions that you get in your old age. So I think when I got the diagnosis, I was maybe 32. And usually the people we hear having diabetes in my community are the older generation, like in their 50s. So being told I'm diabetic at 31, 32, it was very, there was that self stigma to say, then also, yeah, just not knowing how to navigate really and questioning why. I had a lot of why questions.
So, how is living with diabetes affected your mental health?
It's not an easy journey. It's not, it takes a toll on you in the sense that I can't go out, say, with my friends and they're having drinks. Just one beer, my sugar levels spike. So I'm somebody who used to enjoy and on some days to enjoy their drink. It is difficult in that regard. Even if you're invited to a party, our parties, there's mpunga there, nyama there, gochi, tridoro zvinonwiwa. Even just juice ingorine sugar. Yakangoti yatinoconsider maybe it's normal that we take every day, but for me, if I take it, it messes up with my sugar levels.
So how have your relationships been impacted, if at all?
I want to come back to what you asked me about the emotions. So I remember when I came to the UK in 2018, and I had my bloods done, and they told me that you are type 1 diabetes. So type 1, there's type 1 and type 2. So they said it's type 1, where I have to inject insulin every day. So yeah, I was telling you one of the things when I got the diagnosis, and they told me you have type 1. There's type 1, there's type 2. Most of the people on type 2, they take medication like tablets, but I have to inject myself every day. So here I have 2 pens. They are pre-filled with insulin. So I have this long acting one. I have to inject myself every morning with 12 milliliters of this. And like now I just checked my sugar levels are very high because I had Sadzanema Zondo. Oh god. Then I have this one. It's a rapid acting. So the rapid acting one, normally for this one I just inject it as soon as like when I'm about to eat, about 6 milliliters. So yeah, it was quite emotional for me because when I started, of course I was trained again on how to use the pens to inject myself, but sometimes I would bleed, like when you get a prick from a needle, and it would make me emotional. I remember this other day I pricked myself. I was wearing a white top, and there were just some bit of blood drops. So it would really get me emotional. There was a time when I actually defaulted. I think I should also talk about. I defaulted. I just got tired of, because I have to carry them around, like especially the rapid acting one. So whenever I'm going to have a meal that is starchy, high sugar levels, I have to inject myself. So imagine you're going on a date and you order something, so you have to go to the bathroom and do your quick. So it can be very challenging, and depending also on the job that you do. If you're going to be moving around and you're not at home throughout the day, it means I have to carry this around as well. But I am grateful for technology. So now I use a mobile app. Yeah, it's called Libra Sensor. So you see, I walk around with this. It's one of the things that made me emotional as well. So you have your nice little number for summer, and you're going out, maybe strapless or it's short sleeved. So people are gonna see this, and it attracts attention. So whilst it's very helpful, it took me a while to say, this is life-saving. I need to be having it attached to my arm like this. So it works for 14 days. What it does is I have a mobile app, and this one is called Libra Sensor, like I said. You just like stamp it on, it pricks you a bit on your arm like this, and it's linked to your phone, and it gives you readings when your sugar level is high, when it's too low. It starts sort of beeping to signal you that, oh, you need to. I remember why I say it's very life-saving. There was a day when my sugar levels really went down, like below 1. It was on that line, and it kept beeping. And I think what I've also managed to do is to become a good patient, because like I said, at some point I defaulted. I was just like, I'm so done with this, it's too much. But on that particular day, I remember I was driving, and it started beeping. I was just feeling funny. I couldn't explain how I was feeling or to understand. But when the phone started beeping, I looked and said your sugar level is too low. It had gone below 2, I think, on almost on 1 on the line. So I had to pack and buy Coca-Cola and just take a little bit to up my sugar levels.
So, do you talk openly about your diabetes with others, or is that still a journey you're on at the moment?
It's still a journey. I only like disclosed to my family members know. So I think my not I think I know my parents are diabetic, and I talk to them openly about it. But to other people, I only disclose on a need to know basis. Yeah. So like I was telling you, moving around with this sensor, it, it has been empowering in that regard, where it alerts me whenever my sugar levels drop or they are too high. Um, but also, interestingly, now that I've become managed to embrace my journey and to say this is my reality, I'm living with diabetes. It has become a great conversation starter for some people. I remember somebody, I was wearing a short sleeved and they saw this. They're like, oh, you're diabetic. My husband has this too. So, oh, conversation starter really. But yeah, it has been interesting, and to know that there's technology that has been developed to support people living with diabetes. Like I also heard from my diabetes team nurses to say they have now other new things that are being introduced, like a pouch that you have that can, whenever it will release the right quantity of insulin. So once the sensor reads, you don't have to inject yourself anymore. The pouch that's attached to your stomach will just release the right amount of insulin.
So, what have you learned about yourself through this journey?
What I've learned is that I'm resilient, because like I said, for me it was very difficult, and at some point defaulted from taking my insulin. Um, but I hopped back on the program and just understand that there are these life-saving mechanisms and tools that I can utilize to make my life better. So now I I'm more empowered in terms of understanding how my body works. Like I told you, I would feel so tired in the mornings, but I never knew why. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is when it comes to relationships. So when you're diabetic, you're prone to having thrush. So it was quite a journey. I would have episodes, like bouts, maybe in a year, 4 times, have thrush 4 times, and I didn't know why. So because in this country there's good healthcare system, I was then told by the diabetic team to say, oh, this is also what happens. Then I was like, okay. And it's something that can be very challenging. We also hear on women's stories. Imagine if you have to have sexual intercourse with somebody and you have thrush, and then it affects them somehow. It's a conversation that you need to be empowered to have, or even before it gets to that, to just openly say, oh, I'm diabetic and these are some of the things that can happen.
What message would you like to share with women who are newly diagnosed?
To say I understand it's not easy, but it can be done. I've been doing it now religiously, so it can be done. Find out more information about it, and if you are planning on having a pregnancy, always talk to your diabetic team. So what's good about this sensor now, I can communicate with my diabetic team. They can also see my readings. So if they keep spiraling, they can just check and monitor and give me a call and say, oh, what's going on? We've noticed it's fluctuating, or oh, now your levels are balanced. So it's really empowering, and I hope you'll be able to also talk to your team about the sensor, because it makes everything so much easier.
So, what are your dreams or goals, and how does diabetes fit into that vision of the future?
Dreams. I have so many dreams. I want to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm manifesting it, but it's gonna happen, diabetes or not. So it's not like an ailment. As long as you're taking good care of yourself, you're always taking your medications. When something goes wrong, you're contacting your health team. It's something that you can manage. Like I have been managing. I still go out with my friends. I still go out and have a good time. I still have a drink here and there. I still enjoy the food that I like, but I know how to manage it now. So it's not like a death sentence to say this is the end of your world. Like I told you, I'm still dreaming of becoming a millionaire.
That's very good. So how do you stay hopeful and motivated for the future?
My greatest cheerleader. One thing that I am very proud of myself and my parents actually is they allowed me to be, the freedom to be, the freedom to make mistakes, the freedom and the grace after making mistakes to say, oh, okay, you messed up here, you can still bounce back. So I have within me, and I'm very self assured. I also, because of a lot of other empowerment programs, young people's empowerment programs that I went through when I was young, in my early 20s, mid 20s, I'm very aware and very much self-assured, and I know where I want to go, so it keeps me motivated. I may fall, I may feel tired, I may, yeah, like there's one time when I had a diabetic coma, that my sugar levels were too low, um, and got into a bit of a crisis. But that's just an incident because I wasn't actively monitoring my sugar levels then. That's when I defaulted. Yeah, so I am motivated. I don't look at it as a death sentence.
Well, thank you very much. Any final words?
Thank you so much for staying here with me. If you have any questions about diabetes, if you're a woman or if you know any woman who's diabetic who could get support or just want somebody to talk to, reach out to me, and please like and subscribe, please, and share my videos so we can reach out to more people who may want to learn about diabetes. Until next time, bye.